Hello all, welcome to NEET World. From today we are starting a new batch of NEET 2027, right? So these are all demo classes. In this we have 30 demo classes of botany, zoology, physics and chemistry. So we are starting new batch. So if anyone interested, please join our channel, subscribe and see the classes of each and every class. Then if you want to join, if you're willing to join in our NEET World, let's welcome, right? In this NEET World, what you will get? So in this NEET World, what you will get is, you will get complete offline classes, and also you will get online also. This entire 30 days, it's all YouTube classes, it's all perfect online, or you can come offline also. And also you will get recorded classes. We are recording each and every lecture and we are pasting it in our app. And also you will get study materials. So we designed modules based on NCERT. So we have 8 number of modules for physics, botany, zoology, chemistry. So we designed such a way that each and every question, each and every sentence from NCERT we didn't miss. We included all NCERT and we included daily practice questions such as DPPs and some MCQs and some PYQs. So it's all mentioned in our study material. And also we have our class PPTs. We will directly share our PPTs to you. You can refer whatever the content we have. And also we have chapter wise tests, mock tests and 24/7 teaching assistants. So these are all the things you will get from our NEET World, this long term 2027 batch. If you see our faculty, we have well expertise faculty, Dr. Chandrasekhar Sir, founder of this NEET World, and also myself, Lakshman. I qualified all these examinations. So I am your master teacher, zoology. I will teach all the zoology related topics, right? After that, we have, see, these are the modules we have. So we have, if you see, this is module 1, 2, 3. Module 1 consists of few topics, module 2 consists of few topics, module 3 consists of few topics. So what we did, we segregate all the topics into different books. That's why we have included all the NCERT with PYQs, with DPPs and with some other MCQ kind of questions. So we made different number of modules with clear cut explanation of each and every concept. So these are the modules we have. You can purchase, you can buy these modules for your preparation, right? So this is about our NEET World introduction. So today we are going to start a first demo class on basis of classification. In this entire 30 days, I am going to teach you 30 different topics which are very important in NEET examination. That's, I was classified into 2 categories. The first category is about all first year topics, all first year zoology topic, and next 15 topics are second year zoology topics. In this first year zoology topics, I was selected few most important questions which NTA will give most number of questions, right? So for example, in first year, what we have the first one is animal kingdom. Before animal kingdom, the basic understanding of animal kingdom is basis of classification. After animal kingdom, we have tissues. After tissues, we have physiology of human, such as digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system and nervous system, all different types of systems including endocrinology. So what I want to do is, in this entire first year, all the 15 topics I will select from human physiology. I will select all the topics from human physiology. Why? Because from this human physiology, you will get maximum number of questions, such as 15 to 16 questions. Around 15 to 16 questions you will definitely get from this human physiology. So if you want to crack this biology, means you have great understanding of human physiology. So to that great understanding, I was telling the demo classes of this human physiology along with these tissues, and also little bit of animal kingdom, because animal kingdom, it's a vast topic, it can remember it, it is a memorable topic. So here there is no need to explanation, you have to remember the examples of all characteristics and all phylums. So that's why I was taking the first general concept of this animal kingdom. What is that? Basics of classification. With this understanding of this basics of classification, you can clearly able to understand animal kingdom 1, animal kingdom 2. Without understanding of this classification part, you cannot understand or you cannot remember the characteristic features of this animal kingdom 1 and 2. So that's why, so in this entire demo classes, first our demo class is about basics of classification. Next we will further move to the tissues. After that we will move entire thing on physiology. After completion of this first year topics, let's discuss on second year topics, right? So with that we'll start our the first session on basics of classification, right? The first one we need to know is what is classification, why we need to classify the animals into different categories. The first one is what is classification. So if you see classification, classification is generally what? Separating or segregating or placing the animal in a systemic position. Right, placing the animal in a systemic position. So what is that placing the animal in a systemic position? We have many number of species, such as plant species are there, animal species are there, we have many number of invertebrates, vertebrates, we have many number of microorganisms. So in this entire world, millions of species are there. So we want to study the millions of species, we want to study the millions of species, and we need to know what is the animal. So for the identification of the animal, and also for the naming of the animal, and also if you want to identify or if you want to naming the animal, this classification is very important. So classification helping in such a way that we can identify the animal, we can name the animal, and we can give a systemic position to the newly described species. For example, if you are describing, describing a new species means you can give a name to the particular species, and also you can tell about its identification characters. Based on the identification characters, you are giving some name and you are placing this animal in taxonomical hierarchy, right? So in diversity of living world, you learned about this taxonomical hierarchy. What is the taxonomical hierarchy? Coming with kingdom, after that phylum, after that class, after that order, after that family, after that genus, after that species. So this is the taxonomical hierarchy. So based on this identification characters, we are giving some name and we are placing this animal in a such a way that we can easily find out the history of the animal, we can easily find out the basic characters, description, each and everything. For this systemic position, we need to study what? Classification, right? Sir, you can ask the question, sir, how we are classifying the animals, because there are millions of species, and how we are classifying millions of species in all these taxonomical categories. The answer is, animals are classified based on what? Closely resemble characteristic features, nothing but we have many number of animals, and all these number of animals sharing some common characters. So those common characters are called as what? Fundamental features. See the sentence, even though multicellular organisms are structurally, functionally different, right? Each and every animal is structurally different, functionally different. Even though structural, functional organization of the animal is different, they are sharing some common characters. So those common characters are called as what? Fundamental features. So because of these fundamental features, we are classifying the animals into different categories. Let's see what are the fundamental categories. The fundamental categories or the fundamental features are, the first one is level of organization, and the second one is body symmetry, third one is number of germ layers, after that coelom, after that segmentation, after that presence or absence of notochord. So these are the fundamental features which was shared by all the animals. If you take any animal, you can see the level of organization, whether it may be cellular level, it may be tissue level, it may be organ or organ system level. Or if you take animal in cellular level also, you can see symmetry. In tissue level also you can see symmetry. In organ level also you can see symmetry. If you take any animal in tissue level or organ level, you can see symmetry along with what? Germ layers. It may be diploblastic or it may be triploblastic, or it may be pseudocoelomate, acoelomate kind of thing. After that it may be segmented animal or unsegmented animal. So the basic thing is presence or absence of notochord. So the thing is, if you take any animal, this animal is having all these characters. So based on all these characters, we can classify this animal into a particular taxonomical hierarchy. Let's see what is the level of organization, what is body symmetry, what is germ layers, what is coelom, what are segmentations, what are notochord. So by understanding this thing, you can clearly understand different animals such as phylum Porifera to chordates, right? Understand? Now we'll see the first one, that is level of organization. The first fundamental character is what? Level of organizations, levels of organization. In these levels of organization, we classified the animals based on the body organization. Nothing but the animal, for example, you take an animal, the animal is made up of cell. Is the animal is made up of cell, or is the animal is made up of tissues, or is the animal is made up of organs, or is the animal is made up of organ systems, right? So based on the body organization, we classified the animals into cellular level of organization, tissue level of organization, organ level of organization, and organ system level of organization. Sir, how we can tell whether the animal is having cellular level or tissue level, organ tissue level, organ system level? For example, you take an example of Porifera, sponges. This exclusively, these are made up of only what? Cells. The body is made up of only what? Cells. So here there are many number of cells, but what? They don't have become tissue. We have many number of different kind of cells are there, but they do not form what? Tissue, which means these animals are made up of only cells. So that's why this kind of animals are called as what? Cellular level of organization. If you see in evolution, we have started with Porifera and we have ended with Hemichordata. After that we have Chordata. So these Porifera are the primitive, right? These Porifera are the primitive animals, which means coming to this cellular level of organization, this is the first level of organization. Understand? This is the first primitive level of organization. The animals, the first evolution animals has what? Cellular level of organization. If you see here, the cells are loosely aggregates, which means this animal is made up of different number of cells. They do not form a particular tissue. They do not form particular tissue. If they form particular tissue, it may be coordinated with all different kind of cells. There is no coordination here. They have different number of cells. They are placed loosely in that particular body. So such as, for example, in phylum we will see this Porifera has outer layer called pinacoderm, right? Outer layer called pinacoderm, and inner layer we have very characteristic cell which is called as choanocytes. This is one cell, this is another cell. This is performing what? Protection. This is performing what? Inside the digestion, all the water current mechanism, all this excretion, all these kind of functions was done by choanocytes. All the surface protection functions was done by pinacoderms. Likewise, this body is made up of cells. They do not connected with each other, but what they are having? They have division of labor. They are what? Having division of labor, such as, so if you see there are many number of cells, they are thinking like what? These two cells perform one function, you two cells perform both another function, you two cells perform another function. So the segregation of the functions also called as what? Division of labor. This division of labor characteristic properties seen exclusively in where? Cellular level of organization. Understand what is cellular level of organization? Here the animals are strictly made up of what? Cells. Their cells are loosely aggregate and they have what kind of property? Division of labor. So what are the examples of the cellular level of organization? The examples are what? Porifera. Why Porifera? Porifera are the primitive animals, and the cellular level of organization also, right? Primitive level of classification. After the cellular level, we have what level? Tissue level of organization. What happens in evolution? In evolution, what happens? These so-called cells, after similar kind of cells, these are grouped together which performs similar function, that group of cells is called as what, friends? Tissues. See, cells performs similar function to form one kind of group of cells. Those are called as what? Tissues. If the animal is made up of that particular tissues, those animals are in the category of tissue level of organization, which means if you see coelenterate is the next level after the Porifera. So after Porifera we have coelenterates. So Porifera is evoluted into coelenterates, right? Porifera animals after coelenterates came. So likewise cellular level was upgraded into tissue level of organization. In tissue level of organization, what happens? All the different types of cells was grouped together which perform similar function. They are called what, friends? Tissue level of organization. So what is the difference between the cellular level and tissue level? In cellular level, each and every cell is not connected. They are loosely aggregate. But here each and every cell is connected. Connected with what? Nervous. So each and every cell is connected. That's why here it is becoming a tissue level of organization. Understand what is cellular level, what is tissue level of organization. Cellular level you can see in Porifera, tissue level you can see in coelenterates. Next we have another two more levels of organization. Another level is organ level of organization. In this organ level of organization, what happens? We saw starting with the cells, after tissues came. Now what happens? This group of tissues which perform one physiological function or specialized function, that one is called as what, friends? Organs. So a group of tissues together to perform a similar function, and that group of tissues is called as what? One organ. So if the animal is having organ level, then it is called as organ level of classification. The animals having primitive organs, not well developed. So it's a primitive organs. For example, if you see, platyhelminth is the first animal having what level? Organ level of organization. In this platyhelminth, you can see elementary canal also, elementary system is there, but not completely well developed organ system. It is only having fully developed organ level of organization. You can see nervous system, you can see digestive system, you can see excretory. So cells are there, nervous cells are there, and this elementary cells are there for digestion also, but this is not having a perfect systems. So that's why this platyhelminth was placed in where? Organ level of organization. Right. So this organ level of organization is having what? Platyhelminth is the best example. A group of tissues which perform a similar function. So that function or that kind of organ is called as organ level of organization. Next one, we have organ system level of organization. Now what happens? We have many number of organs. We have many number of organs. All these organs particularly doing one specialized function, specific physiological function. That entire thing is called as what? System. This is called as organ system. Organs arranged to form a system which performs specific physiological function is called as what? Organ system level of organization. This organ system level of organization you can see from nematode to chordata. See, for example, starting with porifera, after that coelenterata, which is having cnidaria and ctenophora also, after that platyhelminth, nematyhelminth, so on. This porifera having cellular level of organization, this coelenterata tissue level of organization, this platyhelminth organ level of organization. From nematyhelminth to chordata, what is having? Organ system level of organization. So whenever you read this animal kingdom 1 and 2, the first sentence you have to remember, porifera is cellular level, coelenterata is tissue level, this platyhelminth is organ level, nematyhelminth to chordata, you can write all are organ system level. So this is the one of the character of the phylums. So likewise, this is one of the classification. That's why this basis of classification is very important. The first level of organization was done, right? Are you clear about cellular level, tissue level, organ system level? Now we will see another level of organization, right? So we have organ system level of organization. In that we have two systems, especially very mandatory. If you see, digestive system was classified into two systems. One is incomplete digestive system, another one is complete digestive system. Sir, what is incomplete digestive system? What is complete digestive system? If you see, let's take this is an animal. The animal has openings, right? If you see, this is one opening. So this one opening is responsible for what? Is responsible for the ingestion, and this one opening is responsible for what? Egestion, which means nothing but this opening is only acts as mouth also. That one opening is only acts as what? Anus. So if the animal is having a single opening which performs dual functions such as mouth and anus, so those kind of systems are called as what? Incomplete digestive system. The best example is platyhelminth. Because platyhelminth are the animals having starting what? Organ level of organization. So before that there is no organ level of organization. We know from platyhelminth only organ level start, but platyhelminth have system, but it is what? Incomplete digestive system. That's why we are not placed this platyhelminth in organ system level of organization. Why we placed the platyhelminth in organ level of organization? Because it is incomplete systems. Next, after that, we have complete digestive system, which means in this animal there are two openings. One opening is responsible for mouth, another opening is responsible for anus. If the animal has two openings, one opening is responsible for mouth, another opening is responsible for anus, then that type of system is called as what? Complete digestive system. So this complete digestive system is present in which animals from ASCII elementary to all chordates, right? So we know porifera, coelenterata are not having any organ, so there is no doubt. After that, platyhelminthes came. From platyhelminthes, this platyhelminthes is incomplete. After that, nematohelminthes to all chordators are complete digestive system. Likewise, there is another system which is called as circulatory system. This circulatory system also classified into two types. One is open type of circulatory system, another one is closed type of circulatory system. So what is open type of circulatory system? What is closed type of circulatory system? If you see, let's take another example of one particular animal. This is one animal. So here we have heart, which is 4 chamber, whatever it may be, what 2 or 3, 4 chamber heart. So from this heart, the blood was flown into the particular cells or tissues, and again from the tissues the blood has to bring to the heart for the purification. For example, here all the tissues are there. Here all the tissues are there. For example, let's take this is one organ or something. This is all the tissues. If you see in this animal, you can see heart, you can see artery, you can see vein. Arteries are nothing but which carries oxygenated blood, whereas veins are nothing but which carries deoxygenated blood. Arteries there, veins there, but you cannot find capillary kind of thing. We don't have any capillaries in that particular animals. So whenever there is no capillaries, it cannot directly transfer the blood into tissues. If there is no capillary, we cannot give the blood into the particular organ. So what it will do? It will release the blood in the space only. It will release the blood in the particular space. That space we are calling it as what? Visceral space. In that fluid is having visceral fluid, right? So the blood is opened in visceral spaces. Why? Because we don't have any, they don't have any capillaries. So that's why this kind of system is called as open type. What it will do? The blood is opened into the space of the body cavity, and from this body cavity only the blood will bring to heart. So this kind of system is called as what? Open type of circulatory system. Whereas coming to the closed type of circulatory system, what we have in closed type of circulatory system, we have especially what, friends? Capillaries. We have what? Especially capillaries, which directly transfer this blood into particular tissue or particular organ. So whenever we have capillaries, we cannot pour the blood into visceral space. Directly we can take this blood into the particular tissue. So it is, everything is closed. The blood from starting here, it will travel to the tissue, and from tissue it will travel to heart. It is not opened anyway. So that's why this kind of system is called as what? Closed type of circulatory system. Here you need to remember what are the animals that are coming under this open type and closed type. So the open type of circulatory system was seen in arthropods, molluscans, echinoderms and some urochordata. Whereas closed type of circulatory system, after urochordata, what are there? Cephalochordata and all vertebrates. So these are the examples of closed type, and these are the examples of open type of circulatory system. Understand? So this is all levels of organization, starting with cellular level, final with organ system level of organization. Done. So next one we will see symmetry. Next one, the next fundamental feature or fundamental common character is what? Symmetry. So first of all, you need to know what is symmetry. Symmetry is nothing but equal distribution of paired body parts. Right? It's an equal distribution of paired body parts. So that was called actually symmetry. For example, if you take any animal, if you cut the animal at the principal axis, if the animal is getting equal amount of distribution of this paired body parts, then we can call this animal as symmetrical animals. If this animal is not getting equal amount of body parts, then we can call what? Asymmetry. A is nothing but no. So there is no symmetry in these animals. See, no plane divides the body into two equal halves. Right? There is no plane that can divide the body or that can divide the animal into two equal halves. So that is called what? Asymmetry. So the best examples for the asymmetry are sponges. Right, in higher education you will study some gastropods also, but according to the NEET level, you just remember sponges are the having asymmetrical property. Whereas coming to the symmetrical animals are nothing but what? The body is divided into two equal halves. Right, those are called as symmetrical animals. In these symmetrical animals, there are again two types. One is what? Radial symmetry. Another one is what? Bilateral symmetry. Sir, what is radial symmetry? What is bilateral symmetry? See, any plane passing through the central of axis of the body divides the animal into two equal halves. For example, let's take the example of Hydra. This Hydra animal having the property of what? Radial symmetry. Right? If you cut the Hydra, you can get, see, if you see, this is the diagram of Hydra, you can clearly observe this is one axis, this is another axis, this is another axis, this is another axis. So with all number of axes, you can cut this Hydra into two equal halves. So here what is there? There are many number of planes that can cut the animal into two equal halves. That's called what, friends? Radial symmetry. See, any plane of this animal that can cut the animal into two equal halves, such as what? Radial symmetry. Whereas coming to the bilateral symmetry, what is bilateral symmetry? Only one plane. With the only one plane only, we can cut the animal into two equal halves. For example, if you see, this is one example of bilateral symmetry. This is only one plane. With this only one plane, we can cut the animal into two equal halves. Whereas this radial symmetry, there are many planes, more than one plane. You can remember more than one plane, up to 5 also. There is an example of pentamerous radial symmetry. 5 planes are there. Likewise, any plane or more than one plane that can cut the animal into two equal halves, such as radial symmetry. Only one plane that can cut the animal into two equal halves, that is bilateral symmetry. So in symmetry, we have two different types of symmetry. One is radial symmetry, another one is bilateral symmetry. Understand what is radial and bilateral. Now the important thing is you need to remember the examples. See, sealant rates Ctenophora are strictly radial symmetry. Coming to the echinodermata which are adults, only, they are following what? Radial symmetry. Whereas coming to the larval echinoderm, they are not following radial symmetry. We'll see. See here, bilateral symmetry, what are the examples? After Ctenophora, what are the animals? Annelids. arthropods, molluscans, chordates. In between we have what? Larval form of echinodermata. See, this is very important line. Adult echinoderms only following radial symmetry, whereas larval echinoderms only following bilateral symmetry. This was the exact question which was asked in NEET 2026. They told that adult and both larval forms are following what? Bilateral symmetry. That is actually wrong statement. Only adult echinoderms only following radial symmetry. Bilateral symmetry was followed by larval echinoderms. So this question was given many number of times. Even though we told this thing is very important, people little bit confused. So remember, this is very important. Understand what is symmetry. This is about the symmetrical part of animals. One is asymmetry, one is radial symmetry, another one is what? Bilateral symmetry. Understand? So the next one is number of germ layers. The third one is what? Number of germ layers. So initially we need to know what are germ layers. Germ layers are nothing but embryonic layers. Germ layers are nothing but embryonic layer. So whenever we develop from zygote to morula, morula to blastula, blastula to gastrula, this gastrula is what, friends? 3-layered thing. This gastrula is what? 3-layered cell. So one layer is called as ectoderm, inner layer is called as endoderm, and middle layer is called as mesoderm. So these three are only calling it as what? Germ layers or embryonic layer. Based on the number of germ layers, we classified the animals into two different categories. What are they? One is what? Diploblastic animals, which is having this property. That's why we are calling it as diploblastic level of organization. Just remember simply diploblastic animals. Another one, triploblastic animals. Sir, what is diploblastic organization? If this particular animal only having two layers, one is what? Ectoderm, another one is what? Endoderm. Ectoderm is what? Outer layer. Endoderm is what? Inner layer. So the animal is, see, animal whole cells are arranged in two embryonic layers only. What are the layer? Ectoderm and endoderm. In between ectoderm and endoderm, there is undifferentiated layer which is called mesoglia. Mesoglia is the undifferentiated layer, which means it is not differentiated into particular layer. It is acellular. It is not forming any tissue, just only one space having some different kind of cells only. It is not forming any layer. So that's why we name this layer is called as what? Mesoglia. So there are two layers. One is what? Ectoderm and endoderm. So that's why these animals are called as what? Diploblastic animals. You see the examples. So this diploblastic organization has what? Ectoderm and endoderm. So ectoderm, which is giving rise to the epidermis. Just remember, ectoderm is the outer surface, which means the body, the animal outer surface is formed from ectoderm. Whereas if you see the endodermis, all the gastrodermis, which is called lining of gut, internal organs such as alimentary canal. The best example is alimentary canal. This is formed from where? Endodermal tissue. The outer surface, the best example is skin, is formed from where? Ectodermal tissue. See the examples. What are the animals having diploblastic organization? One is corals, jellyfishes, sea anemones. So all these are cnidarians, ctenophore kind of animals. So these are the animals having diploblastic organization. So porifera, after that we have coelenterata, cnidarians. So after that we have platyhelminthes. These animals having what? Diploblastic organization. Understand why porifera does not have diploblastic organization? Because this is made up of only cells. These are not made up of any tissues. If you see this layer, This is one layer, this is another layer, right? This porifera not having any diploblastic organization, but it is a primitive of diploblastic organization, no problem. Porifera is the primitive, but actual diploblastic organization start from here. After that we will have triploblastic organization. So what is triploblastic organization? If the animal is made up of 3 germ layers, what are they? Ectoderm, inner endoderm. Previously we studied there is a tissue which is called as mesoglia. It is not forming a particular differentiated. Now what happens? That undifferentiated layer was transformed into differentiated layer. So that's why that differentiated layer is called as what now? Mesoderm. Previously it was mesoglia, now it is mesoderm. So if the animal is made up of ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, then these animals are called as what? Triploblastic organization. If you see here, what are the cells, what are the tissues that are arising from this ectoderm? The best example is skin. As I said, the outer surface of the body. Hair is also outer surface of the body. Especially you need to remember these neurons, nervous system also coming from this ectoderm. Nails and teeth also coming from this ectodermal tissue. Likewise, we knew endoderm, all the gut, internal organs such as lungs and livers are also coming from this endoderm. In between we have mesodermal tissue. You need to remember what cells. For example, these muscle cells, bone cells, heart and reproductive organ. So whenever we discussing the connective tissue, again it will come. If you see this muscle, bone are what? Connective tissue, and heart is mesodermal origin, we know. So this mesodermal tissue is giving exclusively connective tissue, heart and reproductive organs. Likewise, from these different layers we are getting many number of cells and organs, right? So that was about triploblastic organization and diploblastic organization. Understand? Next one, nature of coelom. This was the next fundamental property of these animals. So what is this thing? Coelom. First we need to know what is coelom. Coelom is nothing but what? Body cavity. Coelom is nothing but what? Body cavity. So the presence or absence of body cavity is also makes the animal into 2 different kind of categories. The first one is acoelomates, nothing but, A is nothing but what? No. So in these animals what is there? There is no body cavity. No body cavity animals are called as what? Acoelomates. The best example is platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes are not having body cavity. Next, pseudocoelomates and eucoelomates, these are coming under what? Coelomates. We classified the animals into acoelomates and coelomates. So here what happens? There are 2 categories. One is pseudocoelomates, another one is eucoelomates. Pseudo is nothing but false, which means these are the animals having coelom, but it is not true. It is false coelom. That's why these animals are called as what? Pseudocoelomates. Next one, we have some animals, these are having also coelom, which is actually true coelom. That's why it's called as eucoelomates. U is nothing but true. These are false coelomates, these are eucoelomates. False coelomates are called as pseudocoelomates, true coelomates are called as eucoelomates. Sir, how we classified these animals into pseudocoelomates and eucoelomates? What is the thing which makes this animal into 2 different kind of classes? We'll see. If you see this diagram, you can clearly able to differentiate. This is what? Ectoderm. This inner layer is called as what? Endoderm. And this red color layer is called as what? Mesoderm. And inside the body cavity you have what? Inside this inside this thing you have what? Body cavity. This white color region is called as what? Coelom, which is called as body cavity. Which is called as body cavity. If you see, the body cavity is fully lined by mesodermal tissue. See here, from here the body cavity is connecting with mesoderm. This body cavity, entire body cavity. Here also the body cavity is connected with mesoderm. Here also the body cavity is connected with mesoderm, which means outer side, which means the outer side, the surface side also body is connected with mesoderm. Inner side, the gut side are also connected with what? Mesoderm. So that's why this type of organization is true. Here if you see, fluid filled cavity, which is called as body cavity, completely lined with the mesodermal epithelium. That's why these are called as true coelomates. For example, if you see this diagram, this is we know ectoderm, this is we know endoderm, and this red color we know mesoderm, and this white color part is what? Coelom, body cavity. If you see this outer side or inner side, it is not lined with mesoderm. Only some cavity is fully lined with the mesoderm, and remaining cavity is not fully lined with the mesoderm. And if you see here in this mesoderm, what happens in this body cavity? What happens? This mesoderm is present as some pouches. Here is one, this is one, this is one. Likewise, it is not fully lined by the mesoderm. Even though it is not fully lined the mesoderm, it is having what? Some pouches. That's how we can classify body cavity not fully lined with the mesoderm. And also this mesoderm forms scattered pouches. Scattered is nothing but the distributed in random way, right? So in this random way, all this mesoderm was scattered in pouches. So if you see this, it is not fully lined with the mesoderm, but it is having coelom. So that's why it is called as false coelom, which is called as what? Pseudo coelomates. Understand why we are classified this coelom into pseudo coelomates and eucoelomates. So pseudo coelomate, it is not fully lined by the mesoderm, that is pseudo coelom. If the animals is completely lined by the mesoderm, that is eucoelom. Now you need to remember the example. It is very important. What are the examples of pseudo coelomate? Pseudo coelomates are the examples of this nematoda. So we started with Platyhelminthes, Nematihelminthes, Annelida. Starting, it is acoelomate. After that, it is pseudocoelomate. After that, it is eucoelomate. Right? So that's how you need to remember. Starting with Platyhelminthes. Why Platyhelminthes? Organ level. All the organ level is was started. So acoelomates, Platyhelminthes, acoelomates. There is only organ, that is not organ system. That's why acoelomates. After that, Nematihelminthes, organ system was there, but it is pseudocoelom. After that, annelids, organ system is there, but is eucoelom, which is called as true coelom. Likewise, eucoelomates are the examples starting from where? Annelids to arthropods. In this eucoelom also, we classified these eucoelomates into two categories, which is very important. One is what? Schizocoelomates. Another one is what? Enterocoelomates. Based on the formation, we classified these eucoelomates into what? Two coelomates. One is what? Schizocoelomates. Another one is what? Enterocoelomates. If you see this diagram, just observe diagram. Initially, what happens? This mesoderm was splitted into two parts, this part and this side. This mesoderm, now what happens? It's going to form one cavity kind of thing, that is only developed into one cavity. If you see here, the cavity is fully covered by mesoderm. Here also the cavity is fully covered by mesoderm. There is no doubt about it is pseudocoelom. It is only eucoelomate, true coelomate. But what happens? This mesoderm was formed because of splitting of the mesoderm. If you see same thing here also, two mesoderm sites are there, the body cavity is fully lined with the mesoderm, but the formation of this cavity or the formation of this coelom is done by what? Different thing. If you see, it is ectoderm, this is endoderm. Here this endoderm is going to form what? Archenteron. This yellow color, this thing is only called as archenteron. From this archenteron, this mesoderm is coming in a pouch kind of thing. That kind of thing. See, after this archenteron, gut was formed. From this gut, mesoderm was developed, and after it was separated. So, if coelom forms from the mesodermal pouches of archenteron, so this thing we are called as mesodermal pouches. These are coming from where? Archenteron. This kind of pattern of formation is called as enterocoelomates, and just by splitting of the mesoderm, that kind of pattern is called as what? Schizocoelomates. See, what are the examples? We started platyhelminthes, and next nematohelminthes, annelids, arthropods, molluscans, echinochordata, hemichordata, and chordata. Right? If you see, platyhelminth is what? A coelomate. Nematohelminth is what? Pseudocoelomate. From these annelids, all are having eucoelomates, but annelids, arthropoda and mollusca. Annelids, arthropoda and mollusca are what? Schizocoelomates. After that, echinodermata, hemichordata, chordata are what? Enterocoelomates. That's how the levels of thing will come. Right? You need to remember like that. So this is about what? Nature of coelom. Nature of coelom we discussed acoelomate, pseudocoelomate, eucoelomate. In that we have schizocoelomate and enterocoelomate. Next one is what? Body segmentation. Segmentation is nothing but it is repeated units of body. For example, if you see this animal is having different pouches kind of thing. This different units were arranged in a sequence manner. These repeated units are also called as, this unit is called as segments. These repeated units of segments forming the body. So this pattern is called as what? Segmentation. In some animals we cannot find this segmentation. In this porifera we cannot find segmentation. In nematodes also we cannot find segmentation. In annelids we have segmentation, right? For example, if you see division of the body, so entire the body is divided into repeated units are also called as segments of serial repetition of organs. See, all the organs was placed in these segments. So this kind of pattern is called as segmentation. In that, in annelids we have one kind of thing which is called as metameric segmentation. What is metameric segmentation? If you see the body outer surface, you can find able to tell, so this animal is segmented animal. The internal condition also, the body has segments, which means the body has outer segmentation, the body has inner segmentation. This kind of thing is called as what? Metameric segmentation. So the body is externally, internally divided into segments. This serial repetition is seen in where? Annelids. So that's why this is called as metameric segmentation. The external, internal division of this body is called as what? Metameric segmentation, which is exclusively seen in where? Annelids. This metameric segmentation was continued to arthropods, but in arthropods you can see in only external segmentation, there is no internal segmentation. Arthropods having segmentation, but few number of arthropods also having this metameric segmentation. In question, if questions come, if there is two options like annelids and arthropod, you need to select only one option, go with all annelids. If there is, you can select both options, you can select annelids and arthropods. So that is about body segmentation. Here if you see the arthropod is also having this segmentation pattern. Thoracic, abdominal appendages, all these things are segmentation patterns, right? The next one, the final character is what? Presence or absence of notochord. Presence or absence of notochord. The first one is, what is notochord? So a rod-like mesodermal structure on the dorsal side of embryo. So that was called notochord. For example, if you take the animal, the dorsal surface, there is a rod-like structure which gives what? Support. What support? Structural support to the entire development of this animal, entire living life of the animal. It gives the structural support, this rod-like structure, and they are telling this rod-like structure is arranged from where? Mesoderm. So the mesodermal rod-like structure, which is exclusively present at where? Dorsal side. So that is, this rod-like structure is called as what? Notochord. If the notochord is present, then these animals are called as what? Chordates. If this notochord is absent, then these animals are called as non-chordates. So the animals without notochord, such as from porifera to hemichordata, all the animals are non-chordates. Whereas coming to the chordates, from cephalochordata. So they mention cephalochordata. Why they say cephalochordata, urochordata, from pieces and from mammals. So from fishes to mammals, and cephalochordata, urochordata, all are coming under chordata. So there is another thing which is called as vertebrata, invertebrata, that we will discuss now. So for example, you need to know what is vertebrates and invertebrates. Vertebrates are nothing but, if you see from fishes to mammals, here there is a notochord. This notochord was replaced by vertebral column. Right? These are coming under non-chordates. Here, this fishes to mammals, this notochord was replaced by vertebrates. So that's why these fishes to mammals are called as vertebrates. Whereas coming to here, cephalochordata, urochordata, the notochord was like that, it was not transformed into any vertebral column. So that's why these two, along with porifera to hemichordata, are all called invertebrates. They are not having any vertebral column. That's why from porifera to cephalochordata, urochordata, all animals are invertebrates. From fishes to mammals, all are vertebrates. From porifera to hemichordata, all are non-chordates. From urochordata to mammals are all chordates. So that's how the non-chordates, chordates, invertebrates and vertebrates will come. So based on the presence or absence of this characteristic property, we classify the animals into non-chordates and chordates. So this notochord is for what? Structural support during the development. So this is about all the basics of classification. With the thorough understanding of the basics of classification only, you can able to solve number of questions. Let's see few number of questions which was given in your NEET 2025, NEET 2024 also, right? We'll see. The first question, if you read, they are telling, while trying to find out the characteristics of a newly found animal, a researcher did the histology. He cut the animal, he opened. Then he observed a cavity with the presence of mesodermal tissue towards the body wall. But they are mentioning what? But, which means you have to read. No mesodermal tissue was observed toward the alimentary canal. So what kind of possible outcome? Is it schizocoelomate? Is it spongocoelomate? Is it acoelomate? It is pseudocoelomate. Right. We can easily eliminate this spongocoelomate. We cannot discuss. They are mentioning a cavity. So we can easily eliminate acoelomate. So they are mentioning two characters of cavity with presence of mesodermal towards body wall and they are telling there is no mesoderm towards the alimentary canal, which is nothing but the false coelom. The exact option is what? Pseudocoelomates. So this was the NEET 2025 question based on basics of classification only. Next one, radial symmetry. From radial symmetry they are asking, radial symmetry is not found in adults of phylum. Which phylum? Echinodermata, adults are having radial symmetry, whereas larvals are having bilateral symmetry. That's why they are framing the question in a very opposite way, in very confused way. Definitely the question is like that only. Radial symmetry, they will tell not, and they will also tell adults. There is no related of not and adult. Just understand the question. They are asking what? Radial symmetry is not found in which phylum? Ctenophora we can find, Coelenterata we can find, Echinodermata we can find. But in Hemichordata we cannot find this radial symmetry. That's why in Hemichordata is not found in adults of phylum. They are found in adults of Echinodermata, they are found in Coelenterata, they are found in Ctenophora. If questions comes like this, you can easily eliminate with the odd one out also. So the thing is, we have to do the MCQ with many possible ways. Is it a elimination method or is it odd one out? Whatever it is, you can do with the understanding of the concept only. First of all, you need to read the question. Next one, there is another simple question of NEET 2024. They gave 4 following characters of coelomates. Annelids are true coelom. Porifera are pseudocoelom. This is wrong. Asclepianths are acoelomates. No. What are acoelomates? These platyhelminthes are acoelomates. Next, platyhelminthes are pseudocoelomates. No. Pseudocoelomates are asclepianths such as nematoda. So this is also wrong. So after seeing this thing, so we will see B, C, D are wrong options, right? So another thing, you need to read the question also. Choose the correct answer from the following given below. So what is the correct answer? A only. So the answer is third option. For example, choose the incorrect statements. Then what you need to see? B, C, D. Sometimes with the bad luck of something, they will frame B, C, D also. Sometimes if you see this correct as incorrect, you can easily tell B, C, D, then that will be wrong answer. Sometimes they will give B, C, D, there will be like kind of thing. This is only wrong option, these are all right options. They are asking incorrect, you have to tell A. A is the only, so this is not the case, I am telling the example. A is the wrong. So sometimes if you see instead of incorrect, if you see the correct one, you can give wrong option. So while reading question also, you need to observe question carefully, right? So these are all the NEET level questions. The final question which I will tell is MCET level question. That is also very simple. If you understand this thing, Schizocoelomate, same question they will ask. Chordate, nematode, molluscans, platyhelminthes. In this, what we know? Platyhelminthes we know. What is platyhelminthes? That is acoelomates. So D is 1. So we have 2 options. So we can eliminate this option. We can eliminate this option. Next, what? Nematode. Platyhelminthes after nematode will come. Nematode is 1. Pseudocoelomates. B is 4. So these 2 are there. These two are there. Next we will see molluscans. Molluscans is what? Schizocoelomates. So the option is what? This thing, right? So the answer is B, right? Only the answer is B. So what about chordata? It is enterocoelomate. So if you understand the question, or if you understand the first of all the concept, you can solve what level of exam. Is it NEET level, is it MCET level, or is it any other national exam such as ISER, whatever it may be. First of all, understand the concept, then you can solve each and every question. So today we will end this topic. So today we discussed all levels of organization, symmetry, coelomate, all different kind of thing, and we solved some PYQs. In tomorrow class, we will start another concept which is very important for NEET and all examination. I think you understand very well. If you able to understand very well, if you want to join this NEET long term, or if you want to join these demo classes, watch online also, or you can come to the office, you can come to the institute, you can freely watch from the offline classes also, right? So thank you for watching. Thank you everyone. Done. So understand this basics of classification.